Disclaimer. The conviction in the Bible's authority, and the key tenets of Christianity, serve as the foundation for these views, opinions, and material, which are expressed from a globally recognized and accepted core Christian perspective. Any allusions to other faiths, spiritual traditions, or belief systems, are meant to politely address and, when required, correct viewpoints or teachings that are thought to be in conflict with, and incorrect with biblical truth, rather than to insult or disparage. The goal is to defend the authentic gospel of Jesus Christ, the correct teaching of the Holy Bible, its proper interpretation and application, and to provide clarity to matters of faith, not to offend religion, people, beliefs, or cultures. All viewers are urged to approach this content with an open, impartial mind and way of thinking, with discernment and humility, and to seek the truth, while showing love and respect for others. It is highly recommended that everyone read their own Bible, study it, and search for the truth on their own, with the assistance of the internet, search engine, and artificial intelligence like Google and ChatGPT.
You hear the word cult, right? And your mind probably jumps straight to sensational headlines and these wild, dramatic stories. But what if the real definition, the most important one, isn't about weird behavior, but about what a group actually believes? That's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to use our source material to cut through all that noise and get to the theological heart of the matter. So let's start with the big question. What really defines a cult? Is it all the bizarre, headline-grabbing stuff we see in documentaries? Or is it something deeper, something quieter, something rooted in what a group actually teaches? Well, from a theological perspective, it's definitely the latter. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the one hand, you've got that pop culture image, bizarre rituals, total isolation, the whole shebang. But then on the right, you have the theological focus. And this is the key. It's about a group that denies the core, essential beliefs of a faith while still claiming to be a part of it. It's that internal contradiction that we're really going to focus on. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we've got to get our language straight. We need to move past the sensational stuff and lock in a clear, working definition based on what our sources are telling us. Now, this is where it gets really, really precise. According to our source, gotquestions.org, a cult, in this theological sense, isn't defined by its weird practices. It's defined by its doctrine. It's a group that says no to foundational Christian beliefs. Things like who Jesus is or how salvation works. But at the same time, they insist they're Christian. That's the critical piece, claiming to be in the club while tearing up the rulebook. And that brings us to this really crucial idea our sources highlight, the cult of Christianity. Now, we're not talking about other world religions here. This term is laser-focused on groups that basically grew out of Christianity, use all the Christian language, but have fundamentally twisted the essential message. The Bereans Apologetics Research Ministry gives us this super sharp definition. You seeing the pattern here? Once again, it's all about a group claiming to be Christian, but pushing a system that flat out denies what Christianity is built on. It's that contradiction. That's the whole thing. So what are these central doctrines we keep talking about? Well, our sources say it almost always boils down to these two big ones. First, they deny the full divinity of Jesus. They'll say he was a great prophet or an angel or something, but not fully God. And second, they deny that salvation is by faith alone. They'll add a bunch of hoops you have to jump through, rules you have to follow, or works you have to do to earn your salvation, instead of it being a free gift. Those two right there are the biggest doctrinal red flags. All right, so we've got the theological definition down pat, but how does this doctrinal drift actually show up in the real world? What are the practical, on-the-ground warning signs you can actually look for? So what does this drift actually look like? Well, our sources point to a few common traits. Now, this isn't some rigid checklist, but these are definitely major red flags. Things like adding new books or revelations that they treat as equal to the Bible, or claiming they are the only ones with the real truth and everyone else is lost. Often, they'll treat their founder like he's the infallible messenger of God. And, of course, they reject core historic Christian beliefs, like the Trinity, that classical understanding of God as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Our source actually boils it down to this super simple 3-part test you can use for any teacher or group. First off, what do they say about Jesus? Is he fully God or something less? Second, what's their gospel? Are they saying salvation is a free gift you receive through faith? Or are they adding a bunch of rules and works to the mix? And third, what's their character like? I mean, does their personal life, what the Bible calls their fruit, show things like humility and love, or is it more about pride and greed? But it's not just about the beliefs. It's also about behavior. Our sources show that where you find these major doctrinal errors, you almost always find specific, powerful mechanisms of control that are used to manage the inner world of the members. Man, this quote from gotquestions.org really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It paints this picture that's not just about believing the wrong thing, but about being trapped in a psychological environment where any kind of question or doubt is stamped out, where people are, as the source says, mentally enslaved by fear and social pressure. So how does that control actually work? The sources point to something called the BITE model, developed by Stephen Hassan. BITE is an acronym. It stands for behavior, information, thought, and emotional control. It's a framework that helps you see how a group can manipulate basically every part of a person's life, from who they're allowed to talk to the very words they use to think, to the guilt and fear they use to keep them in line. Okay, understanding all the definitions and the control tactics is one thing, but what if this hits close to home? What if you're really worried about a friend or a family member? Well, thankfully, our sources don't just define the problem. They actually offer a path to help. And here's the crucial thing. The advice isn't to go in guns blazing and start an argument. The guidance is to first pray, and then to focus everything on building and keeping a trusting relationship. Instead of attacking what they believe, you ask thoughtful, searching questions that maybe plant a little seed of doubt. And maybe most important of all, you make it crystal clear that you'll be there to offer unconditional support if they ever decide they want to leave. At the end of the day, this whole theological framework isn't just a tool for slapping labels on other people. It's really a mirror. It challenges every one of us to look a little closer at what we believe and why we believe it. It's a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous drifts aren't the loud, bizarre ones you see from a mile away, but the subtle ones that corrupt the very heart of a belief system, right from the inside.
Thank you for watching today's eye-opening video. My friend, in a world filled with deception, confusion, and false doctrines, staying spiritually awake is not an option. It's a responsibility. Cults don't always appear dangerous at first. They often disguise themselves as truth, light, or salvation. But beneath the surface lies control, manipulation, and spiritual destruction. If this video helped open your eyes, don't just stop here. Arm yourself with truth. Continue learning, continue seeking, and continue guarding your heart and mind. Remember, your faith, your freedom, and your soul are too precious to hand over to anyone pretending to speak for God. So stay watchful, stay grounded, and above all, stay rooted in the truth that sets you free.
If you found value in this message, hit that like button, share this video to help others, and click the subscribe button below so you won't miss more eye-opening teachings and biblical insights. And as always, stay safe, stay discerning, and stay strong in the truth. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.
My children, hear the word of truth, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Open your hearts.